Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm your host, Jerrika Kelly, with my incredible co-host, Kelly Sarlo, and we are two of the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thanks for listening. Hey, Kel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How have you been?
Good. I have some fun news.
Oh, I love it.
And it's kind of funny given that we just recorded a show on purpose versus pleasure. I realized I don't do a lot in my life that is just for fun. It always has a purpose. So I recently was down visiting Alex and Devin and Emerson and engaged in some Mario Party.
Amazing.
Yeah, I bought a Nintendo Switch.
I love it. Good for you.
It's actually the first time in my life that I've played video games. I just didn't enjoy it as a kid. I love playing. So I'm playing on a Nintendo Switch, literally just for the sake of fun, which is difficult because I can hear that inner critic being like, if you're awake, you should be doing this. If you have the energy, you should be doing that. So it's like an internal battle right now.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's giving me some carved out time just for fun and a little bit of purpose in that you can play online. So I'm hoping that I can play online with Emerson and keep that relationship because it's distance, right?
Yes, and that's what he's into right now. So it's like cool that you can connect that way.
Yeah, you got to find ways to be a cool aunt.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm looking for people who want to join the community online.
Are you recruiting?
Yeah, add me as a friend.
Honestly, if I had one, I would be there with you because growing up and to this day, I'm a huge gamer. I think gaming is so fun.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. I'm really excited about my topic today.
Ooh, okay. Hit me.
So hypothetically speaking, if an idiot such as myself was to, on a whim, sign up for an obstacle course race, how would you support them in training so that they don't die?
Awesome. This is fun. We've already started, but okay. So how do you want this to be taken? Like, how would I create an exercise program or how much detail were you looking for?
Honestly, anything. Because I think, we've put it out to our online community. Like Breaking 90 Fitness is going to Blue Mountain in October of 2023. We're doing the Spartan race, or a couple of them. And we have asked anyone who wants to join us and run under our name, we would love to have you there. So if people are like, oh, interesting, I would like to push myself outside my comfort zone, I would like to be a part of this community. Like, I would love to know whether it's nutrition, movement, like what would you tell them to start doing and kind of incrementally implement so that they can actually have an enjoyable experience.
Awesome. First and foremost, I want to make note that if you're listening, like, you can do it. I think people are terrified of the obstacle course race, the name in itself, but it can be. It can easily be done. I wouldn't say easily, sorry, take that back. It can be done with a challenge, but I know whoever is listening can achieve it with a bit of training, because the nice thing is you can choose to walk, hike, run, sprint. Like, you can make it as difficult as you want or push yourself as hard as you want. Now, with that being said, you can't expect for it to just be like a walk around your block, right? But people are surprised when they're down there, like, oh my God, I just did that. And like, you can do it too. And that's the comments that you hear flying around at the finish line. So I don't want people to think that it's totally out of their league, because with a few months of kind of training and just setting some expectations and some goals, it's definitely achievable. Now, and the cool thing is, side note, you run with a team and they can help you and lift you over stuff, and you can do things together. Like, it's not a race in that one, like, kind of all for one for all type thing. It's like you get to do it all together and help each other out, which is awesome. Okay, so now when let's say hypothetically, you signed up, because I know you did. What's important here to talk about, and when I'm kind of creating these programs for everyone, is emphasizing that it is duration on your legs. So whether you sign up for a 5, a 10, a 21, we are going to be on our legs for quite a while. Now, typically a 5K may take some of you between a half an hour to an hour, whether we're walking or running. Typically, like a 5K walk is around maybe about an hour or so. But we're doing this on a mountain, Blue Mountain. So this 5K is going to take much longer than just an hour if we're walking it. So just first and foremost, I'd like to have that conversation. Like, are you putting time on your legs now? If not, let's create a plan to either walk more, start learning how to run, just figuring out what your intentions are going into this obstacle course race. If you do want to run part of it, how can we start getting you into running? Awesome. So let's say, for example, yourself, you're like, I do want to run some of this race, because I think you can. I know you can. That's just going to be, I would start by having everyone on a flat ground, just walking for an X duration, running for X duration, and just doing some interval work so that we can A, train the heart rate, B, train the legs. And then once we've done that for quite a few weeks, I'm going to get you to find one of your favorite local hills, whether that's on a road, whether that's on a hill somewhere nearby that you know. And then we would start doing some walks, some power walks up the hill. It's pretty amazing how much of a workout a power walk up a hill. And for those that are listening, you're like, you've walked up a hill before, your glutes were on fire. Like, it's such a good workout. And even if you're not doing an obstacle course race and you want a good workout, just go walk up a hill. Like, it's amazing for us, our heart, our leg muscles, our core. It's such a good workout. So that would be the next thing, is I'd get you on a hill. Step 3, we would talk about grip strength. The cool thing is with obstacle course racing, and I think this is probably the most intimidating aspect, is all the hanging that's involved, or pulling and lifting. So most of the obstacles require either, you're pulling a rope, so you're squeezing really hard with your hands. You're either doing monkey bars or rings. So there is that hanging component on the upper body. And for a lot of women that we speak with, that's one of their biggest problems or fears, is that their upper body is their weaker area, which is most common for women, period. So this is something that I always ask people: do you have a pull-up bar that you could put in your doorway? Do you have a tree in your backyard you can jump up and hang from? Do you have a local playground nearby that I can prescribe, couple monkey bar runs, even if it means that your feet are still dragging on the floor and taking some weight off your body? So there's so many options there that we can train that hanging component, because you can imagine if you've never hung before and I asked you to go do a full body weight hang, your shoulder may in fact just blow out. That's a lot on our shoulders. It is I've seen it. I work at a Ninja Warrior gym. So I've seen everyday people just come and try to do their first swing on their whole body weight, and some disastrous things happen to the shoulder. It's just not used to being in that position and having our weight kind of on that one arm. So it takes some training. Yeah, that's one of the big ones.
I love this so far. And I'm really excited because, like I said, a couple of people have already signed up to run with us. And I think this is a really great way to, like, incrementally, like I said, implement some things, to not feel like, they have to train extremely hard. You're talking about start with X, layer in Y. That's great.
Absolutely. I think about now, if you're in where we are in Northern Ontario, the snow's starting to melt. We're starting to get double digits this week. So families will be heading to the park with their kids. And I know that's coming. So, your child could be playing and you can just be having both arms up on the monkey bars and just slowly lifting your feet off the ground and putting them back down. Like, that is Spartan training. It doesn't have to be, 0 to 10 immediately, like just 0 to 1, 1 to 2, like we will get there. And the cool thing is, if you're listening and you're doing it in October, you have time. You have the time. On the side note of grip strength as well, if you're a gym goer, doing the farmer walks, deadlifts, things that require you holding dumbbells, pull-ups, all that can be an amazing addition to add into your routine. Especially the pulling motions, because there are walls you're going to have to kind of jump and pull your body over the wall. So jumping pull-ups can be a good exercise to add into your routine. And just anything that involves grip holding on to dumbbells. So that's something that you would see in a program as well. Okay, so next from the walking and running to the grip and the grip strength, I would just encourage core strength. Some of the obstacles require a lot of core activation, depending on if we're hanging or if, like I said, we're jumping over walls. So working on that, again, it doesn't have to be at a specific gym location. Like you can do it on your floor, incorporate core exercises. So the big thing I'm sure you've already kind of touched on, but with the things that we can do it incrementally, and we can do it in the comfort of our own home. Like we could do our core workout at home. We can go to the playground and do our training. We can go outside and do our run. So it doesn't require a lot of money, which is really nice. And you don't have to go to a local gym. That's only going to add more resistance because you have access to more weights per se, but it doesn't need to be that in depth.
Cool. Okay, keep going. I love this.
Do want to touch on equipment or clothing or gear would be a good word, but is there anything else that you want me to dive more into the programming?
No, I don't think so. And actually what I wanted to say too, and this wasn't my intention, but we are actually putting together a program for people who do want to do the crazy thing that I just signed up for, which is your first obstacle race. So if you do want to work with a team, if you do want to work with an actual program that is going to offer you the incremental exposure to things, like reach out, let us know. Whether you run it with Breaking 90 or not, we are coaches who can help hold you accountable to that goal, which is really exciting.
Yes, I've got Kelly started on my the gym, the equipment version of the Spartan Prep, and then I've got equipment free version starting. I actually started that last week for those that will be using the playgrounds and doing things from home. And then tied into, as you kind of get into it, Kelly's just about to start in the next 3 weeks, but will be the running and hill training coming into the summer months. So that will be pretty fun.
Awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, your outfits, everything else we need to know.
Yeah, I think it's worth touching on, depending on the duration that you're choosing, whether it's the 5, 10, or the 21. Most people for the first one, I do assume, is the 5. But it's just important to note the shoes. If you do have a pair of running shoes that have a tread, meaning like they have like grip or spaces, like I guess most people know what tread means, but it has like a grip on the shoe, not just a flat bottom, let's just put it that way, not a completely flat bottom running shoe that you would use either on the road or just like a cross trainer. You want like an outdoor running shoe that has some spaces and grips, because these Spartan races get really muddy, especially on the hills, either depending on the time of year, but the water runoff down the hill, there's certain areas that there's just mud piles up, and if you've got a bit of a tread, it helps, because at the flat bottom you're going down. So that's something to keep in mind. And a good running shoe with a good cushion as well, because the downhill and the uphill is quite hard on the knees. You do feel it after a while, so making sure that you have a good cushion shoe can go a long way. So I always like to touch on the shoe component. Hydration is key. So this is a conversation I would love to have with everyone that's doing it, but just practice remaining hydrated while you're doing these runs that you're in your training, in the training component, whether that's drinking X number of water before or after, or if you're comfortable having some hydration during and bringing that on you. Some people, especially if you choose to walk it, will actually carry a pack with some water or electrolytes or some snacks on them, because it may take a while. You may be out there for the 5K, maybe a couple hours, depending on if you're just hiking or walking. So come prepared with snacks, seriously, like full granola bars and water out there, because it takes a lot out of you. And, you might be on the top of a hill and it could be 30 degrees Celsius and the sun's beaming on you, and there's no water jugs in sight. So having something on you for a while is key. Now they do have water stations. I do want to make note. So every certain distances, they have a water refill station, little cups. So there are some out there, but I always like to just get people prepared and practice moving with some gear on them, because that might be how they choose to run these races.
Neat. That's cool.
Awesome. And then something I want to make note of is there's also like crawling under barbed wire and stuff like that. So in your program, you'll see lots of bear crawls and things of that sort, which is always fun.
Yeah, this is really exciting. I love the idea of being challenged. I know you and Alex love that. Any athlete, likes to push their body to their limits. But I've heard a lot of people that I know just in my community saying, they're turning 40 and they've got these big fitness goals, fit before 40, or, best year of your life or decade before 50. And I just, all of those are noble, all of those are exciting. And if you know what you're in for, then it can get you excited and pumped up. And you can obviously be better prepared for success too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it really is. And try not to make it sound too intimidating, because it really is fun. And I would highly, highly recommend going in with a team or with a friend, so that it can be a really enjoyable experience and you can just help each other out. And it's very rewarding, and you feel extremely accomplished when you finish, because you will. You do finish.
Yeah, there's wonderful, I don't even call them, like, there's wonderful employees or volunteers that work for Spartan in particular, that are kind of interspersed throughout all of the obstacles, that just like absolutely cheer you the entire way. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they are great. And I would recommend taking the open division if you have never done it before, just because they don't, anything above the open division, they'll hold you a bit more accountable, and there's more standardization because you're competing for prizes. But the open division is competing for fun, and everyone does get the medal and the t-shirt. And they're not, if you choose not to do an obstacle because you do have a messed up shoulder and you just want to walk around it, like, that's okay. And you can do that. So don't feel that as though you can't. And they did take the burpees out of Spartan Race this year. So instead of doing burpee penalties, you just have to do like a loop. So an added hike or run around a certain duration.
So for people who love running or hiking or walking, this is just that.
It becomes a trail race instead of an obstacle course race if you choose not to do the obstacles. Yes.
Cool. I wanted to share too, like, my goal going into this is literally, to finish, and I'll just mainly attempt all of the obstacles, knowing that I can do what you're talking about. So it's not about winning or timing or anything like that. It's just like, I want to experience it and see, what I can push myself to do. So hopefully people can go in with that open mindset for themselves too. And I mean, I've seen families do this together. I think it could be a really cool family event as well. So,
Yep.
another way to have fun and enjoy being in your body.
I love it. Oh yeah, it really reminds you about every single muscle in your body that you didn't know you have. It's awesome. I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for everyone listening that is interested in taking part. It's awesome.
Well, thank you, because I think you definitely did present it in a way that makes it far less scary than it seems.
And if you ever have any questions and you're listening and you're interested, just don't hesitate to reach out. That's what we're here for, and we can kind of get you directed in the right area.
Awesome. Thank you for today.
Awesome. Do you have a tip to leave us with today?
Yeah, so again, it actually goes along with the podcast you and I recorded on purpose versus pleasure. I wanted to talk about, or just ask the question actually, what people are feeling disciplined in their life, because discipline is that path to happiness. So this was presented in a book that I'm reading that I just absolutely love. It's called The 7 Levels of Intimacy by Matthew Kelly. It's all about building relationships that are beautiful and sustainable. But the concept was, the happiest people in life are the most disciplined. And it's those who think that freedom is following your whim, your desire, doing what you want when you want without interference from authority. And that is actually a form of being enslaved to these whims and desires. It's fleeting happiness, right? So when we actually implement discipline, we are pursuing more fulfillment, and it is more longer lasting in life. So I just thought, if people sit back and ask themselves where discipline exists in their life, or where they want to implement more discipline, you can instantly increase some of that long lasting happiness.
Very cool. I love it. Thanks, Kelly. And thanks everyone for listening. If you love this podcast, or if you think someone you know could really benefit, or maybe you can get them to join the Breaking 90 team, please share in some way on one of your social media platforms. We would love that if you could. Tag Breaking 90 Fitness, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.